Welcome back, Global War 1939. We are moving on to Italy, sixth turn of the game. So let's take a look at some of their options. Um, Even though they do have a sizable army up in northern Africa, the British Commonwealth are putting a lot of pressure on the Italians. The Italians are crying out to the Germans for more and more help. But unfortunately, the Russians are not really helping the situation, as this force is kind of pinning this German force from helping out, really. And that's the whole reason to bring this force down, to help out the Italians. But the Russians came down with a tank force. Even though they did back out, they still not freed up this army from really pushing out and pushing back the Commonwealth. So Italy is still standing on its own, to a degree. But we do have three battles to declare. One's just a walk-in, one's a small naval engagement, and then we have a bigger battle. So the whole idea of this turn is to get rid of this southern force, and then that would free up this army to go back to Tobruk to help fight these guys. So we'll see how all this plays out. But before that, let's get into our purchases. We have 37 to spend. We're trying to rebuild the Navy from the devastating loss from a few turns ago with the British Air Force bombers. But out of all the Axis nation, Italy is the weakest economically. So it takes quite a few turns to get their Navy back up to their starting position. But we are going to go with a destroyer, sub, cruiser, 1 artillery, and 3 infantry, spending all 37. All right, so battles. Let's take a look. Now, the British did help us out slightly. They did have a sizable force here. They backed out to 35, only leaving a Flower class behind. Now, there's nothing preventing them from coming back into the Mediterranean next turn, but at least for one turn, if we get rid of this, we'll get an extra $3, at least for one turn, which is essentially a free infantry that we can place down. So they kind of did us a favor there. The only thing really in range that I don't want to bring this Navy in because they're still trying to rebuild it. So we've got a bomber here in Tobruk. Does have a range of 6. So 4 to get there, 2 left over. And we have plenty of options to land in safety. These 2 islands or Marseille. For down here, we do have 1 transport. Technically, Italy has 3, but 2 of which were used by the Kriegsmarine, so we still can't use them yet, not until next turn. But we've got 1 left over, and we have 3 units in Transjordan. We have an airborne heavy artillery Siglary. So the transport's coming down to 64, grabbing the Siglary, heavy artillery. Siglary is going into Ethiopia to liberate that. That's now back under our control, and the heavy artillery will land in what's this? Egyptian Sudan. This territory is not worth any money, but has a sizable army that we need to get rid of. And then the rest of our force is just going to walk down. So we have the infantry from Lower Egypt and the rest from Upper Egypt, 2 tacticals from Cairo, and the 2 fighters will all be attacking here. So sizable Italian force against this British. They do have a fort, which does make it slightly scary. And they have 3 tanks and 4 infantry and a mech. Now we have an air transport in Cairo. It's going to come up 1 to grab that airborne infantry out of Transjordan. So that's 1, 2, 3. Got to move them in 2 left, 4, 5. Land back in Cairo. So we get an extra airborne into that battle. The rest of our force in Tobruk is just going to stay in place. All right, so that's the 3 battles. 1's already done, so let's get into the other 2. So let's do the bomber Flower class first. So the bomber rolls 2 dice at 4. 9, 10. Not good. Not good. Flower class return. An 8. Okay, that's good. Bomber again. Both miss again. 6 and a 9. Flower class. 5. Good. Okay. We're still in this fight. All right. Bomber. 2 dice at 4. 5, 11. Oh my goodness. What's going on? Return. A 4. Good. Still a miss. Close, but still a miss. Bomber at 4. 2 ones. Oh, great. We got our hit. Return. A 4. Excellent. Still a miss. All right, so close. That was 2 shots that were pretty close. In the non-combat phase, that bomber is going to move up to Marseille. Now for the big battle. And again, they got forts. Man, I hate fighting forts. And because of the fort, their infantry get a +1 on defense. And we have a Besigler, which gets a +1 on the first round only. Okay, so because of the forts, I get a -1 on all my units. This is why I hate fighting forts. It really puts a big dent into your attacking power on the first round. We have 4 artillery, so we could boost up 4 of our guys. The tactical does increase the tank, and I think we're good. Okay. Alright, so 2 infantry at 1. Both 7s. Two artillery, cavalry, infantry at 2s. All miss. 2 heavy artillery, 2 airborne, auxiliary at 3s. All right, so we got 12, 12, 11, 6, 10, 12, 2. 1 hit. Oh my goodness gracious. 1 hit, that's it. All right. Light tank at 4. Got a 2, excellent. So we're up to 2 hits. 2 fighters at 5. 3, 10. Okay, our luck is changing. And 2 tacticals at 6. 6, 10. All right, 4 hits. That's not too bad. Not too bad. All right, so he returns. He's got a mech at 4. A 2, so he's got a hit. It's not good. The fort gets 2 dice, and then he's got 4 infantry at 5. Ooh, this is bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Man, that's not good. Everything hit but 1. 2 at 6. Both 7s, and then an 8. Got a 9. Okay. That was brutal. All right, so he'll lose 4. The fort goes away. You can see the devastation of forts with the increase of their infantry. Otherwise, most of that would have been misses, right? So that's all the Axis hits. Now his 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh man, 5, 6. No, we're going to lose an artillery. Oh, that's brutal. All right, so all of our guys get increased again, back up to their normal stats. Still got 3 artillery, so 2 of our airborne get increased. Our tank gets increased. Oh, that was devastating. A lot of loss. All right, so artillery at 3. Got a 5. 2 heavy artillery, 2 airborne at 4s. 3, 2, 2, 7, 10, 10. So we got 3 hits. We need 1 more. Tank at 5. 11. Fighters at 6. 1, 4. So that's all we needed. He returns with a mech at 4. got a 3. Man, we're losing more guys. 2 at 6. 10, 12. And then his Churchill. A 6. So we lose 2 more. And then he loses everything. 2 more. Oh, man. Artillery airborne. Okay, we win the fight, but super costly. We're left with 4 ground units. Okay. Now for the non-combat phase, I don't think we have a lot in the non-combat. The fighters still had a range of 3, so they went back to Tobruk, and the tacticals went back to Cairo. And the bomber went up to Marseille. I don't think we have any non-combat moves. All right, unit placement. So obviously the Navy is going with our Navy, so another cruiser, destroyer, sub. 2 infantry and an artillery is going into Tobruk. And then we got an infantry being built in Cairo because we had a military base. All right, so that is it for the Italians. Costly, but we achieved our goals for this round. Income. All right, so with the gain of Ethiopia, loss of Cyrenaica, so it leaves us with 34 on territories, and then we got our 2 $3 bonuses for +6. So we're at 40 for next round. So $3 increase from last turn, but that's not going to stick around, as I am sure the Allies will bring ships back into the Mediterranean to deny that extra $3. But take advantage of it while we have the opportunity. All right, so that's it for the Italians. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a great day.